FightSaga.com and Halftime Pizza proudly present WAWR Week Radio Chats with ring announcer and commentator Joseph Heron.
Guys, welcome. Happy Wednesday to all of you guys. And we apologize that there was no show last night, Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields. And yes, well, that couldn't be avoided, guys, because right now Ronnie Shields is in London. I've been speaking to him, and he wishes everyone well, and he advises and he urges all of you guys to tune in to this DAZN. Well, once again, it's not on pay-per-view anymore. And it wasn't going to be in the States anyway. But he advises and urges all of you guys to tune in this Saturday day, right? Around 4 o'clock, I think his man, Filip Hrgović, is going to take on undefeated Dean McKenna. Yeah, and Dean McKenna's already talking all kinds of jazz. Well, we're going to get to a lot. Guys, we've got a lot to cover. And we're going to try to, well, fit it all in within 90 minutes. We'll see how that goes. But, guys, we had to come on and greet you guys live, share our thoughts about all the latest news. And, guys, and I wouldn't want to do it without my brother, the boss, G Funky Boxing. G, how you doing tonight, sir?
Thank you. And in the immortal words of Hesh from The Sopranos, after listening to that intro, now that's a hit.
Oh, I love it. Woo! Dude, I love that episode, man. I love that episode, especially the part where Christopher does a Pete Townsend on that lame singer, right?
Spike up.
Yeah. Get ready to sing again. Oh, jeez. And he pulls a Pete Townsend on him. I love it. I love me some Sopranos. But, guys, let's get right down to it. Bad news already, guys. And once again, let's just get the bad news over with. In the co-main event of this Saturday night's big fight card from Top Rank from Arizona, Raymond Murataya is forced to pull out because of an injury.
Ay, Dios. Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. I just found out, brother. So, yes, I'm once again the bearer of bad news.
Man.
But, guys, if you think that's bad, well, it's going to get a lot worse because, once again, on this channel, we take great pride in being the truth serum, the reality of the situation. We don't blow smoke up anyone's ass on this channel. And, well, we couldn't look ourselves in the mirror the following day if we did, right? And so we're going to give it to you straight. And, well, we're going to talk about everything tonight, guys. We're going to talk about, well, Anthony Joshua. He's taking on Robert Helenius. And we'll find out if G Funky likes this matchup or if this is, well, just an event that, well, he's not going to be interested in. We'll find out. We'll also find out his thoughts. Once again, he can't give you the full prediction, right, and breakdown because he's going to do that on his channel. But, well, he's going to give you his thoughts on his expectations of Valdez versus Navarrete. No, let me reverse that. Scratch that. Navarrete, the champ, versus Valdez, right? Yes. Will it be an all-time great, an instant classic fight of the year, or will it be Alacran 2.0, a one-sided ass stomping? Well, we'll find out, but I tell you what, Top Rank doesn't seem to think so. They've got, once again, Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales will be in attendance ringside.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. And also,
that just tells you about their expectations. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. And also, I mean, obviously you don't want to hear about Murataya's situation. Great up-and-coming prospect over there on Top Rank, another Robert Garcia fighter. But there's another fighter that trains with Robert, Lindolfo Delgado, who's on the undercard. I really like that kid, man. He's got a sensational jab, man. I really love it. And look forward to seeing him back in there. I really like that kid. Good fighter.
What's not to like, brother? He's out of the Robert Garcia stable of hungry young badasses. Tell you what.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We'll also talk about, well, two buffoons going at it. And, well, a big, big problem within the business of boxing. And I'm referring to Regis Prograis and Devin Haney. We'll also talk about, and it's the same topic, guys, Dave Benavidez finalizing a pay-per-view event later on this year on Showtime with the man from Providence, Rhode Island, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Boy, I
Yes,
tell
sir.
you what, that's something. I'm glad they put that together because that's something that everyone's been wanting to see. Crickets,
Yeah.
crickets.
Yeah.
Oh,
we definitely been calling for this one, you know.
Oh, did you sense the sarcasm? Did you feel it rolling off my tongue?
Oh, yes, I speak sarcasm very well.
Oh, Chingao, brother. Well, yeah, I guess so. You were on the show with Lukey last night, the king of bone dry sarcasm. But I tell you what, man, very insightful. And if you missed G Funky's show last night, I was there with Big Luke, right? Big Lukey Boxing. And very insightful. I really enjoyed that conversation, although I felt like the contrarian. Do you think I do that on purpose? Well, sometimes. We'll also hear G Funky, if we have time, get his thoughts on the now official Canelo versus Charlo for Saturday, September 30th. They just put out the fight posters and they just made this official. Just got the press release today. And we'll see if, G Funky has changed his perception. If the perception of this has changed in G Funky's mind. We'll find out, guys. But, guys, we have a lot to discuss. But first, on the pecking order, the big one. Let's talk about Anthony Joshua, guys. Once again, one of the biggest ticket sellers and mainstream attractions this sport has. And I can't stress this enough. The sport is just much better off, guys, when these guys are actively competing in the ring. This is going to be his second fight of the year, probably his last of the year. Because once again, if he looks good in this fight, and if he takes care of business against the Nordic Nightmare, 6'8", Robert Elenius, well, then it's full speed ahead to Deontay Wilder in Skills Challenge early next year, January or February, right? But I want to talk about Dillian White, right? And I want to get your thoughts on this because this is a rampant problem within the business of boxing. Once again, you look at both Matchroom Sport pay-per-views that they tried to stage on the DAZN platform. Guess what? Both of them were canceled. Once again, the event, thanks to Robert Elenius, is, well, we're going to see it on Saturday, but it's not on pay-per-view any longer. So both pay-per-views were scratched, okay, that they've tried to slate this year on DAZN in the UK because of someone testing positive. Conor Benn before, now Dillian White, okay? And this is what Derek Chisora had to say this morning. He said, quote, there's nothing changed because these motherfuckers can't do the work, so they have to cheat. That's the problem. Everyone who gets caught taking drugs should get a 10-year ban. Fuck everybody. I don't understand why we have to footsie around this shit anymore. There's a problem with this organization, the British Border Control, bunch of old motherfuckers in there. They need to retire and let these young guys take over because you take drugs and you're going to beat someone else's kid who's clean. Okay, catch a 10-year ban then. Now go be a bodybuilder or motherfucker, something like that. It's the simplest thing. It never changes because you got all these people getting money in their pockets. Right? He went on to say this, I thought was the most interesting. And don't just take it out on these fighters because a lot of times they don't even know what the hell they're taking. Give these trainers, give these conditioning coaches, give them a lifetime ban. They seem to be the culprits. They seem to be the drug dealers of our sport. End quote. G Funky, do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, Yeah, I do. I feel like since the strength and conditioning coaches have been added to a lot of fighters' camps, yeah, this has been a problem. I don't recall a lot of this stuff happening as I was younger, getting into the sport. I don't recall anything. Just a few one-offs, not like it is today. And I'll say this, yes, big credit to Robert Hellenius for stepping in last minute. He just fought last week. So he's doing some old school shit, man. Getting in there, a week later. That's stuff that we hear about from like our grandfathers and stuff. Back in my day, they fought every week.
Woo! Well,
Yeah,
look,
I love it.
man, when you take care of business and fight some, and once again, ever I don't ever want to call it, in fact, someone even at the club level, because all of these hardworking guys take punishment for your entertainment exclusively. So they all deserve our respect. And these guys are the unsung heroes of boxing. They don't get any accolades. They don't get any flowers. They don't get any parades when they come home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they provide solid opposition. And that's what he was. He kept Robert Hellenius sharp. So now, 4 days removed from beating that ass, that guy who's 6-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who probably mowed his grass a month earlier, right? Right? Yeah. So he says, "Hey, where do I sign? This sounds good."
Yep.
But let's go back to the Derek Chisora thing, because Emmanuel Stewart once told me, he said, "Look, we never had to worry about anyone pissing dirty before. These conditioning coaches and these strength coaches infiltrated our sport. All of a sudden, all these guys start pissing dirty, and now we've got to worry about a bunch of drug cheats in this business." Is he wrong,
No, he's not. No, he's not, man. That's when all this stuff started to ramp up, And look, we all know that anabolic steroids have been around for decades. I mean, we go back to the 1950s with the Soviets. They were doing it, and so can we say that the sport's been clean, squeaky clean since or before these guys got into the sport? No, we can't say that 100%, but it's gotten worse. That's for sure, man. And Dillian White, this is already his third time, Joe, that something like this has happened with him.
Yep.
So I'm glad he got the boot.
He's got to go.
I'm sick and tired of seeing this guy.
You know what, dude? He can kiss my ass. Mm-hmm. Okay, he talks about, I'm not getting what I deserve. I need a bigger money guarantee. You don't deserve shit, man. Kiss my ass and thanks for playing. I will say this, though. It's a huge hit for DAZN and Matchroom Sport. They were really counting on this to be part of their pay-per-view calendar, right, for 2023. And now, in my opinion, though, I know this is the unpopular pick, but in my opinion, I'm actually dialed into this now. I want to see it. I want to see Anthony Joshua against the 6'8" Nordic Nightmare. Once again, guys, styles make fights. And what happened? What happened to Anthony Joshua the last time they had to get a last-minute opponent?
He got knocked out. Well, he quit, actually. He got knocked down several times, and then he basically quit,
Well,
so, yeah.
No, I wouldn't characterize that as he quit. He got, look, he never stopped trying to fight, but it almost looked like he was looking at the referee in charge to step in and call a halt to the bout. But look, I will never say if someone like that quit, right? Understanding what was on the line. But he understood it wasn't his night. Look, bottom line is, guys, Hellenius, he's a tough man. He's a tough opponent. And once again, go back and look at his entire career. At one point in time, he was one of the more highly touted prospects in the heavyweight division. Power in both fists. Tall, rangy, excellent jab. Great power in both fists. The guy can punch, and his timing is impeccable for a heavyweight. He's a tough man, and he's in shape. Obviously, he just fought last week.
Yep.
You know what? But look, they're looking at, and the reason why Anthony Joshua and Matchroom Sport, they were agreeable, because obviously they're looking at his KO loss to Wilder, right? And a few of his fights, like his knockout loss to Gerald Washington a few years back. And then now that Adam Kovnowski, he's lost both of his fights since dropping, getting his ass whooped by Robert Elenius. Well, most people are thinking now, well, maybe Kovnowski was nothing special. But look, don't sell Robert Elenius short. And keep in mind, let's make no mistake about this, guys. Robert Elenius is indeed a lesser risk than Andy Ruiz was back in 2019.
Yeah.
But guys, let's look at the positives. This is a tall, rangy guy who's a brilliant counterpuncher. He actually catches you coming in or catches you going out. His timing is among the best within the heavyweight division. And in my opinion, this is going to force Anthony Joshua to fight. But guys, it's time. Floyd, please.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
Oh my goodness.
Number one, Big G. Number one, Robert Elenius will visibly hurt Anthony Joshua in their scheduled 12-round main event. As a result, Joshua will resort to a more tentative fight style and be happy to outpoint the heavy-handed Finn to a lackluster 12-round unanimous decision on Saturday. Fact or fiction?
Wow. That's a tough one, because I can see him clipping AJ for sure and buzzing him. But I don't know if he'll be like tentative the rest of the fight. I think he'll be able to catch Helenius, because Helenius, again, not known for having the best chin. And he is tough, good counter puncher. He's got a style that could give AJ some trouble. So I hate to say this, but I'll say fiction, man. I do think he's going to catch him with something, though, and get his attention.
You know what, brother? This fight, in my mind, just got cranked up to first class. We went from going from a Chevy Malibu to a Lincoln Town Car. I love this matchup. You look, and this is what happens when you see Joshua in the ring with guys his size. He's forced to fight. A la Vladimir Klitschko. Do you remember when he was in the ring with guys like Tony Thompson? He was forced to fight, right? He is a guy who, once again, he can't just stay on the outside. He's not the taller, rangier guy in this equation. He's going to have to move forward, be the aggressor. So everything that we've been hoping to see and waiting for under the tutelage of Derek James, we're going to see it, I think. We're going to see it on Saturday night. And guys, I can't wait. Okay, and he needs to do something. G, is it enough in this business to just win?
Nope. Unfortunately, it's not. In other sports, yeah, you can say, hey, look, a win's a win. We move on to the next one. But in boxing, no, can't do that, man. And when you're at the level that AJ's at, as far as his popularity goes in the sport, yeah, you got to look good, man. So he has to do something here, man. We know that most likely he's probably not going to get a first-round KO like Wilder did against Helenius last year. But I do expect him to stop Helenius. And if it's an entertaining fight, that's even better, because that's good for the fans. The fans win, and Joshua wins. So that's what I'm hoping for Saturday evening here in the West Coast of the USA.
That's it. That's it. And this is exactly what Joshua said this afternoon. He said, quote, I looked at the momentum I need. Even if I'm going to fight in December or January, I need to build momentum. I kind of canceled the end of year fight for now. Looking at the previous negotiations with leading heavyweights in the division, it's always been complicated, back and forth, never materialized. You know, since 2019, this is the first time I'm having multiple fights in the same year. Crazy, right? That's not good for any fighter. Inactivity is not good. Look at my last fight with Jermaine Franklin. No knockout, maybe not the most spectacular performance, but at least I'm starting to get active again. But fighting once a year, you become soft. You're not as tough as you once were. So I'm getting that battle skin again. That'll be really good for me. If I win in spectacular fashion, it's a massive confidence booster. It gives me and Derek more bonding time as we perfect our craft. It's what I'm supposed to be doing as a warrior on the battlefield conquering. I'm living my dream. End quote, living your dream. Okay? In silk pajamas, living your dream. G Funky, I spoke to Coach Ronnie Shields early this morning, as well as James Gogi, and they said exactly the same thing. This is a guy who, in their opinion, now this is what Coach Ronnie said, in my opinion, Anthony Joshua is semi-retired. He doesn't have the appetite for destruction any longer. No pun intended, and no shout out to Guns N' Roses. Kiss my ass. Right? But this is what he said. He said he just doesn't have the appetite for destruction anymore. If he did, he would have gladly taken on my guy, Philip Ergovich, in the main event instead. Does he have a point, G Funky?
Yeah, I think so, man. Especially after looking at the Franklin fight. He just looked it was a lackluster performance. That's for sure. Now I know that one camp with one trainer, you can't, get the whole transformation. And I don't expect them to do an entire makeover, but whatever it was they're working on, most likely not going to happen in one camp. So I expect to see something different here from AJ. Second fight this year under the training of Derek James. Derek James hungry to get back in there, get back in the win column, get off the schneid, after that defeat from Terrence Crawford.
A big shout out to Chris Berman. Yep.
Yes, sir. But I do think that Coach Ronnie and Coach Gogi have a point. AJ hasn't been looked at like he was the same guy in the last fight. Franklin's a dude who really can't punch. Yeah, he's a little tricky, but he can't crack an egg, man. So AJ was real, just again lackluster, man. And I expect more here from him in this fight. More fireworks, that's for sure.
Yes, sir. In my opinion, this could be, well, in the immortal words of Don Henley, this could be heaven or it could be hell. Like, in my opinion, it's going to be great for the fans, though. This is a guy who's going to force Anthony Joshua to fight. Him uncustomarily being the smaller man in the ring. What happened last time he was the smaller man in the ring? Standing next to Vladimir Klitschko. He was forced to fight.
Yeah. Yep. And
but
hurt and dropped in that fight too.
Absolutely. And you know what? It made for an instant classic. It brought single-handedly, that fight brought back the luster of the heavyweight division. Guys, I'm hoping we see something similar. Once again, in my opinion, this main event just got cranked up a notch. It got turned up to 11.
Yeah.
In my opinion, guys, let's say hello to our very dear friends in the chat before we move on. Our brother Sly Tendencies, welcome to the show, sir. He said, WAWR Week, baby. Yes, sir. We couldn't go. And once again, I felt saddened, and I tried to set up a live show with Ronnie earlier in the day, but he was just too busy with the ongoing press events that they had to endure, and also his ongoing, fight week events that they had to partake in, right? But thank you for joining us, sir. So we're coming to you live tonight. Also want to welcome our brother Jose Varela. Salute to you, my friend. Thank you for always supporting WAWR Radio and G Funky. Also,
yes.
Outlaw Jojo Funkster. Salute to you, my friend. God bless you, brother, and thank you for being here. And I look forward to you taking more shots at me as the show goes on. and Sly says, yeah, it's a pretty solid undercard. Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. Well, despite Derek Chisora fighting Gerald Washington,
what boy.
the hell? Is there any point in that?
No, I don't see any point in that. But
look, guys,
and horrible Hearn.
Yeah, well, no. This has nothing to do with Eddie Hearn, guys. This has everything to do with the Prince and Skills Challenge. And he let the cat out of the bag. And this often happens in boxing, right? Where a manager or a promoter will just want to keep their fighter busy and will pay to have this fighter on your card. And that's exactly what happened. This isn't costing Eddie Hearn a dime. And he's like, oh, shit, have a ticket seller, a major attraction, a fight veteran on my card, and it'll cost me nothing? Hey, right on, man. I'll give you a prime slot. So, yes, he's going on. That's going to be your big card on DAZN. You're going to get Campbell Hatton versus Tom Ansell. Then you're going to get Johnny Fisher versus Harry Armstrong, right? Then you're going to get Derek Chisora versus Gerald Washington. And then in the co-main event of the evening, Filip Ergovich versus Dempsey McKeon. A battle of undefeated heavyweights, right? And then in your main event of the evening, scheduled for 12 rounds of action, Anthony Joshua versus Robert Helenius. Tell you what, this is a beautiful surprise for my Saturday afternoon. I love it, and I can't wait. Guys, and this is going to set the table for our main event on ESPN. Woo!
Yeah.
I love it. And guys, we're going to segue into that in just a second. John McCuck, well, let's put the past behind us. Oh!
That's a troll.
Oh, no. I think this is our very dear friend, John McSmith.
No,
that was a walk. That was a walk. No, I think it is. I think that's John McSmith.
You know, I could tell you how it's not him because I can't see this guy's comments on the chat because I have him blocked. I don't have McSmith blocked. So that's a troll.
Oh, well, whatever, man. Anyway, if this gentleman, John McCuck, whatever it is, if he's willing to let bygones be bygones, hey, so am I, brother. This world wouldn't be the same without forgiveness, right? So let's just put the past behind us. Let's wipe the slate clean. But, brother, behave yourself. Yeah. God bless you, man, and thank you for being here, my friend. Outlaw also says, I'm taking Valdez close decision. Well, that seems to be the going trend. We'll talk about why many people may be overlooking Vaquero Navarrete, right? And I know that seems to be the unpopular take, but we'll talk about all of that. Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz and more. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to our brother Bruce. Always does a great job covering the sport. Great boxing historian and great fan. Always has great guests. Guys, go check it out. Also, my brother Khalid. Chingao, brother. Welcome to the program, sir. And thank you for tuning in, my friend. You're always a welcomed voice on the panel. And we always look forward to reading your comments on the air. Sid UK says, salute Joseph G. Funky Boxing and every fellow boxing addict in the chat. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. And he also says, 600 days and Lillian's B sample finally returned. And you know what? Here's the spirit. My brother W.A.W, Larry Liston, says, actually looking forward to Dempsey McKeon versus Filip Ergovich. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the best fight of the card. I hope not. I hope it's going to be the main event because let me tell you, Anthony Joshua needs to sizzle, okay, to once again stoke those fires, to once again create that huge mainstream demand. This is currently one of the biggest attractions in boxing. He needs to sizzle, guys. And he further goes on to say, I think Ergovich wins, but I never seen this McKeon guy before. Yep, and you more than likely won't see him again after Philip Ergovich turns him into a crimson stain on the mat. And there it is. And there it is. And there it is. I like my guy, Philip Ergovich. And he further says, yeah, Joseph has a point. Elenius is a big guy, can provide some problems for AJ. If Robert doesn't get KO'd in the first 4 or 5 rounds, he could make AJ look bad. Ooh, well, once again, he's going to turn Anthony Joshua into being the uncharacteristic aggressor in this matchup. He cannot just afford to sit back in the pocket because he's not the taller, rangier guy in this matchup. Win-win for the fans, guys. Win-win. He's either going to look like the destroyer of old, or he going to get his ass whooped. Take your pick. Win-win, guys. Outlaw says, Otto Valim was available. Ah, shit. He's a southpaw who moves. Look, there's a reason why, and you can't just pin this on Anthony Joshua. How many people have been interested in making a fight with Otto Valim in the heavyweight division?
Not since 2019.
And why? And why is that? 1, he can't sell tickets. 2, no one gives a shit about him. He can't sell tickets. No one knows. No one cares. And 2, he's a stinker in the ring. Yes, he's very skilled, and he looked great in his last fight on Showtime against who's the retired fighter now? The guy who fought Deontay Wilder, fought Anthony Joshua. What's his name?
Oh,
he's a PBC guy.
Jeez.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, this is a guy who's a very awkward fighter. He moves well, very athletic, very high ring IQ, southpaw. No matter who you are, he's going to make you look bad or off. Put it this way, you're not going to look good, even if you do win against Otto Valim. So just like Frank Sanchez, he's currently being avoided like the plague. Yep. And unless he can sell tickets, there's not a damn thing he can do about it. That's it, guys. I can't stress enough how crucial it is for a fighter to be able to sell tickets in this business. Otherwise, people are going to avoid you like the plague, right? Just ask Regis Prograis. Just ask Demetrius Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. And there it is. Planet 619, welcome to the program. He says, not enough to win because it's a common opponent with Wilder, and Wilder dispatched him. AJ pretty much has to stop him. Look, I think most people are looking at that. And once again, this is a very good comment, Planet. This puts the onus of providing something special on Saturday, well, on the shoulders of Anthony Joshua. Talk about this, G Funky. Talk about the responsibility Anthony Joshua is going to have on Saturday. What's expected of him, sir?
Yeah, it's expected to make a statement Saturday evening here in the West Coast. Yeah, because there's plans of him possibly fighting Wilder early next year. So I don't think he's going to get the same first round knockout that Wilder got against Helenius. But I do expect him to make some noise.
Let's analyze that for a second. Why did Deontay Wilder get the knockout? Once again, what was Robert Helenius saying before that fight? Oh, I'm going to do what Tyson Fury did.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Once again, you can't take a counterpuncher and expect him to be an effective aggressor overnight in one camp. Mm-hmm. That's what he tried to do, and he came in face first. What happened?
Got knocked the hell out.
Do you expect him to do that again?
No.
That's it. So, guys, don't expect a repeat of the Deontay Wilder fight, right? Don't do it. Don't do it. Our brother Tyrese Bowie, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for joining us. And Outlaw, yeah, you got it, JoJo Bud Light Heron. And there's the Outlaw we all know and love. Kiss my ass. You couldn't pay me enough to drink that horse piss, that transvestite horse piss. Chingao.
Oh.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Oh, boy. Also, want to give big shout out to my brother, SSP Diving. What's up, Joseph? What's up, G-Funky? What's up, chat? Thank you for joining us. And yes,
Yep.
Sid UK has the beat. It was Dominic Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah.
That's him. Oh, China Chin Brazil. Semi-retired Brazil. Any other nicknames you can think of?
Nope.
But look, I will say this, guys, and I'm happy to announce, yes, I am now clean and sober, guys. I quit drinking, and I am now sober for what, a week and a half now? G-Funky?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Guys, clean living. Clean living. Very underrated.
There we go.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that, guys. And so, yes, clean living is very underrated. And I am not going to drink for the rest of my days on this globe. So thank you. And I look forward to, well, chatting with all of you guys, with being of more sound mind and body, right? Yes. So, guys, we move into this Saturday night's main event on Top Rank, ESPN. Guys, once again, Marco Antonio Barrera will be in attendance with Eric Morales. And they are hoping, they are expecting to see an instant classic fight of the year candidate. But will we get it? G-Funky, will we get it, brother? Without disclosing, without disclosing your official prediction, because we're going to get that later on this week, either tomorrow or the next day on your channel.
Night.
So please, without disclosing everything, your thoughts, will this matchup between Vaquero versus Valdez live up to its lofty expectations?
Oh, I do think it's going to be a good fight. I do think there's going to be fireworks. I think there's going to be some good exchanges. I think there's going to be a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd. I just don't expect it to go 12. But looking at the styles, both guys are hittable, especially Vaquero. Defense is not his thing. Valdez, resilient guy. He's been down before many times, gotten up to win. He's fought with a broken jaw and beat the hell out of the guy that he was fighting in Scott Quigg.
Yes, sir.
We just seen Vaquero get up off the canvas to get a stoppage. So both of these guys resilient. They can get up, they can get hurt, they can come back and win the fight. So I do expect fireworks, man. I do expect a war, and I don't think it goes a distance. And that's why I don't know if it's going to be up there with the likes of Barrera Morales or Marquez Vasquez, any of those classic Mexican rivalries that we've had. But I do expect a really, really good, entertaining fight. That's for sure.
Well, last night's show, I loved it. It was a very stimulating conversation. And with Lukey, it always is. He's very insightful, right? But, once again, just to make good radio, I was playing the contrarian with Aqualung, right? Jethro Tull. I mean, Lukey Boxing. Yeah. And this is to support my point and my theory that perhaps too many of you guys are looking at the wrong things. And thank you for mentioning this, G-Funky, because you said, both guys have proven that they are resilient warriors in the ring. And I think too many people are discounting that when it comes to Vaquero Navarrete. This is what Oscar Valdez had to say about his last performance. He said, I saw two things that night. That fight proved to be anything can happen at any given moment. When it comes to Vaquero Navarrete, it can be an early night or it can be a very long night. I always try to look at the best that a fighter has. It doesn't make sense to only focus on a fighter's flaws. I want to see what I have to overcome. And what I saw was a fighter that you can never count out. End quote. That was my point exactly.
Yeah.
And once again, Brother Lukey said, oh, well, this is a guy who was losing every round. And I'm like, yeah, until he wasn't.
Yeah, he was losing every round too to Baez. Now I want to get your opinion on this, Joe. I actually got a comment on that video from our show
Yes, sir.
last night from a good subscriber of mine, Jaguar. He says, so I just saw that Navarrete got a strength and conditioning coach. This is a game changer. Before, he would just wing it. Now he will be more prepared. Do you agree with that statement? Adding a strength and conditioning coach for this camp, will that make a difference?
Well, look, guys, it's going to be interesting. And there are huge question marks as to which Emmanuel Navarrete we will see in the ring. Once again, this is, for all intents and purposes, the biggest fight of his career. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But they already tried to make this fight once, and it was canceled. As to why? Why was it canceled?
I believe Valdez suffered an injury.
That's right. That's a huge question mark. Is he fully healed? Is he 100% going into this fight? And once again, if you're a warrior like Navarrete, if you're a warrior like Valdez, do those guys truly come into any fight 100%?
No fighter comes into a fight 100%, man. And if anybody,
especially if you're like Valdez and Navarrete,
right? If anybody's been in gyms and seen guys training for a fight, you'll see how hard and brutal it is on the body, man. The sparring, the running, it's a lot, man, going into the fight. So no fighter feels 100% going in. They are feeling something going into the fight.
And look, and especially if he did align himself with a strength and conditioning coach, now he's got those grueling 2 or 3 a days, right?
Yeah.
That's even worse. Holy shit. So will he have left it in the gym?
That's a great question. And I actually was speaking to my buddy Dave Duenas from Leaving in the Ring. We were talking about that. And, you know, he kind of said the same thing. Maybe he might come in overtrained now since this is his first time with a strength and conditioning coach. We'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Well, I tell you what, guys, expect a great one, though, because these are 2 gentlemen, win or lose, that are going to let their balls hang in the center of the ring.
Yep.
Okay? And this goes back to the steroids, the PEDs, the performance-enhancing banned substances, right? Guys, what was the result of these PEDs infiltrating our beloved boxing? What happened to the product overall? You don't see many wars like this any longer. Okay,
Yeah.
It's tempered the product. It's resulted in a bunch of, well, forgive me for saying this, defensive-minded, safety-first bitches that only throw 1 or 2 punches at a time. Okay? Look, this is one of the only major matchups that you will see, marquee matchups, in which both guys let it all hang in the center of the ring and go to war.
Yep.
Like, once again, go look at marquee matchups in the 70s and 80s. It happened every week. Guys, PEDs have negatively tempered our product. This is why boxing hasn't been the same in decades. Make no mistake about it, guys. Back in the day, like today, like you'll hear boxing scribes, oh, well, you know, very seldom do you see, and I'm not going to name any names, very seldom do you see elite level fighters, well, go toe-to-toe and result in these fight of the year. Well, that's today. Go back in the 70s and 80s. You saw that all the time. You saw elite level fighters taking risks. I'm going to ask you, G Funky, are they not taking risks as frequently now because of the PEDs?
That's a pretty good way to look at it, man. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah. And that's another problem. Like we often talk about some of the biggest problems in the sport, right? One of them is again, overpaying guys. Another one is, like you said, piracy is another thing. But yeah, the entertainment value with boxing, I understand that these guys, they want to go in there and get the win, no matter how it looks. But quite often we see guys that they don't, like you said, they don't want to take the risk of getting hit. A lot of these guys, and I don't understand. Like, you're a fighter, man. You have to realize you're going to get hit. Now, I know where this stuff comes from. They've seen guys like Mayweather in the later part of his career where he was very defensive. He wasn't like that in the lower weight classes, but as he moved up in weight and got older, he was one punch at a time, very defensive, and he took a lot of pride in not getting hit clean too often. That's the influence that a lot of these guys have today. They want to fight like Mayweather.
All I can say is, if you want to see how it should be done, go watch James Toney versus Mike McCallum.
Oh, great fight! Yeah,
So did you see a safety first mentality from the defensive master James Toney?
Nope.
No, that guy wanted to punish you. He wanted to whoop your ass, and he wanted to prove that he was a tougher man in the ring.
Yep. And
I'd say look, all I can say is this. In the immortal words of Larry Merchant, where have you gone, James Toney? A weary boxing nation turns its eyes to you.
Yep.
And there it is.
That fight against the Body Snatcher, guys, I highly recommend you go and watch it. Wait for this show to end, though. All right, wait for this show to end, then go watch it. But that fight, I would say about 97% of the fight was fought in the middle of the ring. There was no holding. There was no one punch at a time. There was no, let me just move around the ring all night long. It was
so once again,
man.
So once again, and this is piggybacking from our conversation last night, right? And once again, not going to name any names. But what's the difference between Andre Ward's defense or a game in the inside and James Toney's?
Tony let his hands go in there.
Did you ever see James Toney have to resort to grappling on the inside?
Only if he was hurt. And that's really that's really the only time you should do that.
How often was James Toney hurt?
Not often.
There it is. There it is, guys. That's the difference. That's the difference between a badass, an elite level badass back in the 90s, back in the 80s. Okay? That's the difference. Okay? Where have you gone, James Toney? Now, keep in mind, guys, I have the utmost respect for anyone who decides to lace them up for our entertainment. But come on. Guys, in the immortal words of the late, great Don Chargan, well, fans just want to see more fight in their fight.
Yeah. Too much defensive stuff going on these days, man. Guys don't want to get hit. And that's the thing I don't understand. Like, the first time I walked into a gym, the coach told me, hey, if you don't like getting hit, there's the fucking door. That's what he said, man.
That's it. That's it. And once again, guys, fighters today want to earn that huge bag, right? But they don't want to have to walk through fire to earn it. And that's what's wrong with our product today.
Yep.
Right? So, once again, Floyd, the honors, please.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Number 2, G-Funky. Thank you, Floyd. Oscar Valdez, Will Alacran Burchelt, Emmanuel Navarrete, this Saturday night on ESPN. Fact or fiction?
I'll say that's another one where it's like, man, if I could go in between, but obviously I can't. So I'll say fiction based on this. I think this fight's going to be more competitive than Alacran.
Woo-woo!
Yeah, I think I might have given Alacran maybe like 2 rounds of that fight, maybe. And I'm talking about I'm being generous, you know? So, but the thing is this, man, a lot of guys now, because that was one of the best knockouts we've seen in the past 4 or 5 years in that fight, a
Oh
lot of
boy.
people forget that he was almost knocked out in round 4 of that fight. That's how lopsided that fight was. He was outboxing the guy, and then when he finally caught him with a left hook, had him hurt, and in my opinion, he
Oh.
never fully recovered. And look, that's a credit to Alacran being a big, tough,
Mhm.
strong guy. You know, being able to hang in there another 6 rounds and continue to take
Oof.
beating the way that he did, man.
Oh
And
boy.
and another thing that I want to mention about that fight, Valdez actually switched to southpaw at one point in that fight. That's how comfortable
Yep.
he was in
Yep.
the ring with Burchelt.
Yep.
So I don't see that. I don't see Saturday night against Vaquero being that one-sided. I think it's going to be competitive. Although I do think probably gets clipped with something and gets buzzed, maybe even out. But I see it competitive. I don't see it the same as Alacran.
Oh, guys, I'm expecting a war. I'm expecting an instant classic. And guys, tune in. And once again, watch two fighters who dare to take risks in the ring. Hallelujah. That's what this fight game is all about, damn it. And so, SSP diving. That flood kick clip kills me every time. Yeah, I paid good money. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually me. That's my Floyd impression. Thank you very much. And SSP Diving also says, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but best believe I'll be watching this banger on ESPN Knockout.
Hey,
Well,
you don't
brother,
need to speak.
you don't need to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
You don't need to be fluent. Just two things. No mames way. And two, puros chingazos ese. Woo! That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
All you gotta do is be fluent in boxing, and you'll enjoy the fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guys, this is going to be a great Saturday. Like across the board, guys. Across the board. Now, oh boy. Do I really have to cover this shit? Ah, chingao. Guys, once again, we're going to talk about this. Jeez. Two fights that, and this is a huge problem in boxing. Once again, Floyd.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
Thank you, Floyd. Thank you. Thank you. And here it is, number 3, G-Funky. Outside of piracy, inflated purses are the biggest problem within the business of boxing today. Fact or fiction?
That is a fact. Yes, that is like
boy.
the back in the day on the I think it was the football, they would do the cold hard facts with Coors Light. That's what that is right there. All right. I mean, if you want a prime example of why overpaying fighters is a problem, just look at the heavyweight division, guys. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Mm-hmm. Like everyone insisted to me, oh, we're finally going to get these great matchups, all because Skills Challenge. Really? How long are we going to have to wait for those? We're still waiting. Oh, well, hey, in the interim, we're getting Anthony Joshua versus Robert Elenius. We're getting Joe Joyce versus Zhilei Zhang. And we're getting, well, before that, we're getting Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. But are those the fights, the matchups in the heavyweight division that we've been clamoring for? No. And why not, G-Funky?
Because these guys are waiting now for a paycheck, a big paycheck, man. That's why. And it's sickening, man. I mean, look, I had a lot of faith in Andy Ruiz at one time, but man, it's starting to fade. The guy has fought ever since he had his upset against Joshua in the summer of 2019, rematched him again in the late fall that same year. And the guy has fought 2 times since then. Twice. That's it.
Oh boy. Yep.
And all because he got a big paycheck from the Saudis in that rematch and in the first fight too. So yeah, that's a big problem, man. Huge problem.
Yep. And once again, it's not just the heavyweights that are suffering from this. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh geez. Regis Prograis was in the media lately, and he said this. Okay, in a fight that outside of the diehard boxing community, no one gives two shits about, right? And he said this on Instagram today. Quote, man, they got some pussy in the right game right now. You know, me and Haney are supposed to fight. We agreed on the date. We agreed on everything. And now they're trying to move the date. The Haneys, I know you're smart, but you're some smart bitches at the same time. Y'all trying to pull some slick shit, but we ain't going for that. We already agreed to the date. That's what it is. We agreed to the date. Why can't y'all go on the same date we agreed on? I signed the contract. What else do y'all want? What more do y'all want? Y'all some bitches. The Haney some bitches. Y'all scared. Y'all don't want me to get ready. That's what y'all want me to do. But I'm already getting ready. So I signed the contract for the date already. The day I shut up. I can't even finish this. Right? Like I can't even finish this. This is a whole lot of nonsense and noise from an inflated purse that is going to cost the network a lot more money than it's going to reap. Right?
Ooh, man.
So once again, you're talking about an inflated purse combined up where near $8 million to a fight that no one cares about outside of the very small boxing community bubble.
Yep.
Okay, is this G-Funky? Is this fight going to result in a lot more subscriptions to DAZN in the American market?
Hell no, it's not.
Then
No.
what the hell is the point?
Right. Yeah. It's a fight that no one asked for. And it's a fight that, like you said, Joe, it's going to cost the network that it's going to be on. And most likely that will be DAZN Matchroom, because Eddie Hearn is the only guy that would be willing to pay for this fight. And like Bob Arum said, Eddie is continuing to have a bonfire with DAZN's money. And this, my friends, will help contribute to keep that bonfire rolling. All right.
Oh boy. Oh,
gladly
geez.
going to pay for this fight, and it's not going to do shit for the network. It's
Well,
gonna
look,
be,
guys, I have a prediction. Okay, after this colossal failure commercially, right? And once again, it may provide a critical hit. Maybe, I doubt it. Terrible style matchup for Regis. Terrible style matchup for the fans, right? But guys, after this, you're going to see both fighters, well, not able to land a meaningful fight after this, because they're going to be top heavy. It's almost like paying a lot of money for an expensive car, and you want to trade it in to get a new one, but you still owe more on the car. You still owe more from the to the bank than what it's worth. That's these two fighters right here. Yeah. These guys are demanding way too much money. Now, this is what's wrong with our beloved boxing when it comes to the business of it. And once again, make no bones about it, the biggest problem is piracy, right? But the second biggest, almost close second, why does everyone, like, what is everyone's reasoning? Oh, these circus events like Jake Paul and whomever, KSI, and the reason why, well, what is everyone's reasoning for that, including critics, including writers, people within the business? What is their reasoning? What is their explanation for all of these circus events happening?
They draw money.
well, they say this. No, that's the rational, smart G-Funky, right? but regurgitating idiots like Chris Mannix, because the biggest fights just don't take place in boxing. Why don't they?
These guys want that they want that inflated purse, you know?
That's it. That's it, guys. And look, just like Prograis versus Haney. Now we're getting an inflated sack of shit like David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's put this myth to rest. More competitive matchups throughout the card. Wrong. Okay, people purchase and tune in to the main event.
Main event.
Mainstream and casual audiences tune in to the main event. They gravitate towards the main event. The only people who are interested in the undercard, okay, are the diehard boxing fans. That's it. No one else gives a shit.
That's the truth, man. And I can't tell you how many fight parties I've had in my place where, the undercard's on, and the casuals who are just there, like Joe said, to see the main event. They're just socializing.
Look, and you just threw a fight party, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how many people were dialed into Fayez, Ronnie Shields' young fighter? Exactly. Nobody. They were eating, they were drinking, they were having a good time, playing grab ass, and they couldn't have cared less who was on the TV at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How about Nonito's fight?
No, nobody cared about Nonito.
Oscar Valdez. Woo! No one gave a shit about that. And how about Isaac Cruz? Thank God no one gave a shit about that.
Yeah, I mean, people started to gather around the TV around, I'd say, the championship rounds of that fight. That's when people kind of settled in and they were like, all right, the main one's getting ready to come on. Let's kind of get our seats and get comfortable, Thank God they didn't see the whole thing, though. Yeah, because that fight was just brutal.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. We won't even talk about it. Once again, we could oh, jeez. Oh, SSP Diving says this. Easy Benavidez stoppage. Not excited for this one. I wish I shared your sentiment, because one thing that Demetrius Andrade is, he's a survivor and he's a stinker. Okay? Yep. And once again, they both go hand in hand. He survives because he's a stinker. Guys, win or lose, David Benavidez is not going to look good in this matchup. And once again, who are the big losers in this fight? Okay, everyone involved. Showtime. And once again, guys, this is going to be on Showtime pay-per-view in November. And why?
Oh,
why is this on pay-per-view? Is it because of the great demand?
Nope. It's because these guys want to get paid more than they should. And
okay, hold on. Let me put my tea down, okay, because I have to step away real quick. I need to take a Veda test. But I'm going to put my tea in the grass. I'm going to put that golf ball right on top of there. Chief Funky, fire away, brother, for the next minute, sir.
Well, yeah, it's another situation where, these guys want to get paid money. From my understanding, Andrade got paid $3 million for his last fight. I'm not quite sure of Benavidez's purse that he received against Caleb Plant early this year, but that fight was on pay-per-view. So it seems like that's what's going to happen here, is these guys are going to want to get paid. I mean, if Andrade made $3 million in his last fight, he's going to have to fight Benavidez now. He's going to ask for more. Guarantee he's going to ask for more. And he's not the A side here. That's for sure. So Benavidez, whatever Andrade's asking for, he's going to ask for more. So, yeah, that's why it has to be put on pay-per-view. And that sucks, man. Really does. And look, let's just pray to God. All right. The Almighty Most High, that we don't get Kenny Bayless as the referee in this fight. Okay?
Oh, shit. Oh, well, look. Benavidez is the A side. There's no way they would agree to that. Yes, but what I want to know is, once again, this is a real problem. Okay, this fight should indeed be on regular subscriber Showtime, just like there's also talk about Prograis versus Haney being on DAZN pay-per-view in the States.
What?
Yes.
You got to be shitting me, man.
No,
Oh my God.
I shit you not. And why? To
'Cause they
try
want-
and recoup some of these huge dollars that these fighters are demanding. And why?
Unbelievable.
And why?
Unbelievable.
What's their market value, brother?
I'll tell you this. Here's what the market value is, right? Go back and look at Regis' last fight against Zorita.
No. Hold on. I'll tell you what Demetrius Andrade's market value is right now.
Oh, Demetrius.
Hold on. No, listen. Close your eyes, G Funky. Close your eyes. Are they closed?
Yes, sir.
What do you see?
Nothing.
Exactly. That's Demetrius Andrade's market value right now. It's nothing. It isn't shit. Oh my gosh. And this is going to be on pay-per-view? Kiss my motherfucking ass. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes. That's it. Oh. And once again, I say this all the time. Regis couldn't fill up my backyard. Yes.
No.
And neither could Demetrius Andrade. And for that matter, neither can Devin Haney. Yeah. Yet he's grown accustomed to making upwhere near $5 million. Guess how much he's asking for this stinker of a matchup?
At least $5 million, since he made 4.5 guaranteed against Lomachenko with some back end on the pay-per-view, but they didn't sell shit on pay-per-view. And then Regis fights a few weeks later and in his big homecoming, and there's more tarps there than the Oakland Coliseum, and that's really saying something, guys. There was fucking nobody there.
Guys, this is a huge problem for boxing, especially when you consider someone like Jake Paul. And this is why I put out this, virtual article, right? This little segment of Coach Gogie's show, basically stating how Jake Paul, may right the wrongs. He may be much healthier for the boxing business than we all could have ever imagined. Because how much was his guarantee for this last pay-per-view event for DAZN?
$2 million. $2
million. How much was Hank Diaz's guarantee?
$500,000.
Yes. So for $2.5 million, very little risk, huge gains, huge reward by the network. Now look at Prograis and Haney in comparison.
Right.
For a matchup that doesn't fucking move the needle.
Yep. Terrible. And to answer lobby QDQ, Seek DQ, excuse me.
There it is. It's easy for you to say.
Yeah. He has faced one southpaw that I know of, but really, it's nobody worth even mentioning. It was a long time ago. I think his name was Dennis Douglin, and that was 2016. Geez. So that was, 7 years ago.
Look, guys, to dispel that myth, though, okay, Benavidez, the way he fights, doesn't matter if you're a southpaw or orthodox fighter. When you close that distance, what happens to that southpaw advantage, G-Funky?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It disappears. Man. It disappears. Once again, when you fight in the pocket, when you close the distance, that's Benavidez's modus operandi every time he fights. He wants to close that distance. He wants to put you in a shoebox, and he wants to whoop your ass on the ropes. Okay? That's what he does. So does it matter if Demetrius Andrade is a southpaw or not?
No.
No, it doesn't. So there it is. There it is. But it's going to look like absolute horse piss until he gets there. Guys, does anyone look good against Demetrius Andrade?
Nope.
Has anyone ever looked good against Demetrius Andrade?
I'd say Moderation for a couple rounds, maybe. Brian Rose, we talked about that the other day, but that's about it.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I think Outlaw has the beat, right? If Andrade were fighting in my backyard, I would close my blinds.
Right. Nobody watches that guy. Nobody watches him fight for free. So what makes these guys think someone's going to actually pay $70 to $80 to see him fight.
Eric R., welcome to the show, sir. He has the beat. Which Regis we gonna get? Pre-Taylor? Look, guys. Styles make fights. When Regis had that moniker of being a warrior inside the ring, he faced guys who were willing to stand toe-to-toe with him. Like Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Is Haney going to do that?
I highly doubt it.
No. You can say, fuck no. No, he's not. No. Dude, he is going to run to the hills. And as soon as Regis collapses that perimeter, what is he going to do?
Grab him, hold him, hug him.
He's going to do his best huggy man John Ruiz impression. Right?
Yeah.
Want to give a big shout out to our brother Anthony Manzano. How you doing, brother? Hey, Chief Funky, you just got upgraded to coach. How
about that? How about that, man?
Well, you know what? As well, the eyes that you have, you deserve that coach status, my friend.
Oh, man,
like your film study is brilliant, and I can't wait to see it on Navarrete versus Valdez later on this week. But just for shits and giggles, right? And this is one of your favorite Emmanuel Stewart calls. God rest his soul. Miss him every day. Our brother Jose Barrera says, "Ooh, James Toney versus Shirov was absolutely amazing."
Oh, yes, indeed. And
Fight of the year.
And the call by Emmanuel in that 12th round was, I mean, I love it, man. I can't tell you how many times me and my friends would rewatch that thing. And again, guys, if you guys aren't my age, I'm old, all right? I'm an old school guy. This is back when we used to have to tape it on a cassette, on a VHS cassette with a VCR, man, and we would rewind that thing over and over and just listen to him make that call, and it was the best, man. Rest in peace.
Oh, God rest your soul, Emmanuel. I tell you what, I miss him every day, brother. Miss him every day, because there's no one else like Emmanuel in and out of the ring, in the commentary. But I will say this, fights have gotten more interesting since Emmanuel's actually been gone, right?
Mm-hmm. And
why do you ask? Well, because he doesn't give away what's going to happen. Like Emmanuel had those eyes. He would tell you, if you'd listen to Emmanuel, he would tell you exactly how the fight was going to play out.
Yes, he would.
And he would, for all intents and purposes, he would ruin the event for most mainstream and casual fans who were listening.
And that's after he would, hype up the event. Like I remember vividly. Woo! There was a fight, I want to say it was either the week before or 2 weeks before De La Hoya Mayweather, that big pay-per-view. And I remember they asked him about the matchup, and he said, I'm going to try to do my Emmanuel Stewart voice. Jim, I remember. I say Oscar's got fast hands, and Floyd's going to have problems dealing with those fast hands of Oscar, right? And then,
what would it sound like? What would it sound like the day of the event? It would sound like this. See, this is the real reason why Oscar chose him as opponent. It's not no bad blood or nothing like that. He fights like an amateur fighter. Wide looping shot. It's there to be countered right in the pocket. Look, trust me, within the next 30 seconds, you're going to see Oscar land a sharp left counter, and it's going to put his ass on the canvas.
Man.
And what would happen?
It would happen every time, man.
Yep.
But yeah,
dude.
And
another one that I point to is Jose Luis Castillo versus Ricky Hatton, right? As soon as the bell rings, he sees Jose Luis Castillo march to the center of the ring, and he's like, let me tell you something. Jose Luis Castillo, he looks like a shot fighter. He's a shot fighter. He's got no legs underneath him. In fact, I see him getting knocked out within 4 rounds by a body shot. Guess what happened?
4th round, body shot, fight's over.
Yep. Fucking Emmanuel was, and once again, this is why I always tell everybody, guys, James Gogi is indeed the Filipino Emmanuel Stewart, because he's got those eyes on him. He's got the best eyes in the business, and he will tell you exactly. Like, once again, go back to Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. He told everyone that if Terrence Crawford, if he does exactly what James Gogi outlined in his preview, he said, man, Terrence Crawford's going to make it look like easy work. Easy work. I was like, how can that be? How did it play out, G?
Almost exactly how he said, man. He said, easy work. And that's what we saw.
Holy shit. Could you ever in your wildest dreams have predicted that it would have played out the way it did?
No, not like that. I mean, I always felt that Crawford would win a clear-cut wide decision, like a 8-4, 9-3 against Spence. Never would I have thought it would have been that easy and that he would drop him several times before the referee jumps in to stop it.
Yep. And there it is. Double L has the beat. He says, Gogi also predicted the Tiafimo upset. Yes, he did.
I was there with the coach too on that one.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about Tiafimo Lopez versus and maybe Larry Listen is talking about Josh Taylor. That was the most recent.
Yeah.
But go back, guys. James Gogi also predicted him getting upset by the Aussie, right?
George Kambosos, yeah.
George Kambosos Jr. Yes, sir. That's how sharp of an eye Gogi has. And once again, Double L has the beat. One of the smartest guys in the business for sure. Yes,
damn
sir.
Right.
I will say, once again, this is not just me saying this. There's a lot of people within this industry saying that, yes, he does indeed have the best eyes in the business. People don't know this, but he is hired by a lot of promoters to scout talent coming out of the amateurs. He has paid a lot of money to do this, right? And guess who has to write everything that Gogi says down on paper? Who writes that? G Funky? Who actually puts that? Who actually writes all of that documentation? Who actually does that for Gogi?
I think I know the guy.
Yeah, that asshole, man. Yeah, that's me.
What's his name? Jesse Consopoulos? I'm sorry. Joseph.
Oh shit. Yeah. Oh shit. Let's put that to it's so funny. Like the other day I was talking to G Funky, and we're both huge wrestling fans, right? And I told him that I was live in attendance with my brother Eddie, right? I hope you listen, Eddie. I love you, man. My brother Eddie, right? We grew up watching wrestling together. And I told G Funky, I said, look, that Tuesday in Texas special from WWF. Yeah, we were there live. In fact, they captured us live. My brother actually held up a sign, and I was right next to him. Mm-hmm. And G Funky found it. And I was there wearing my Cincinnati Reds hat. And guess what? I had a Jesse Consopoulos haircut at the time. Yes.
Hey, the mullet was in back then. We're talking 91, guys. So give my man a break, all right?
Look. I was in direct boycott, right? Because I just gotten dropped from Capital EMI with Dorian Gray. We had gotten signed. And I had hair down to my ass, all one length. And we got dropped because grunge actually was the flavor of the month. And no one wanted to hear hair metal after that, right? So as a boycott, I cut my hair off, and I had the Jesse Consopoulos mullet from Full House.
Yep. And Joe also hit me with when we were talking about this Tuesday in Texas, the Jesse Ventura. I was there, McMahon. I was in attendance. The madness is back, McMahon.
Yes, indeed. The madness is indeed back, Jess. Yeah, but it was Bobby Heenan making the call. But I tell you what, we had a very good time. Just reminiscing of the great days of WWF. And I will say this, winding down in this show, what makes WWF such a great product? Year after year after year after year. You can always count on it, right? And how is that different from boxing? Your thoughts, Chief Funky?
It's a tremendous question, man. I mean, I'd say as far as wrestling goes, you know, the writers and the angles that they would come up with is what keeps people intrigued more than actual matches. I mean, more if you go back to like the territory days, yeah, the matches were the big focus, you know. But
Yep.
as it went to the cable networks and started going nationwide, yeah, they would spin angles and bring celebrities and things like that. So a lot of things change. And to answer Anthony's question in the chat, I actually do have some Betamax tapes from back in the day.
Woo! So here's what boxing can learn from this, right? And this is what made boxing the juggernaut mainstream pastime that it used to be, right? Because, and this is something that wrestling got from boxing, the theater of the unexpected. Even though it was scripted, you never knew what was going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. You never knew. And it was always a very surprising outcome, right? Even if you, and this is why wrestling, just this last event, they started working with DraftKings. You can now bet on the outcome of a wrestling event.
Wow.
Okay? So back then, you saw a ton of 50-50 matchups in boxing. The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. You saw a lot more 50-50 matchups on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. It was truly the theater of the unexpected. What do we have today?
Mismatches, a lot of mismatches. Although this year has been quite good, man, with the matchmaking and the big events that we've had. So this has been a fantastic year, better than at least the last 5 years of boxing, that's for sure, man. But yeah, too many mismatches, too many guys don't want to risk the O. And that mentality's got to stop, man. But that also has responsibility on the fans too. Like, you guys can't just throw fighters away because they take a loss. You know, just because they take a loss doesn't mean you throw them away. You got to stick with
guys.
Them, man. You know?
That's it, guys. So ask yourselves, why do these fighters have this safety first mentality? Why are they unwilling to take risks, to take on these 50-50 assignments? Why? Because of you.
Yep.
Because of you guys. Okay? One loss and you're in the trash. No. Now, remember back in the day when fight fans were a little bit more rational. And once again, I'm not referring to our extended family in the Warwick Radio chat, because you guys, well, you guys are among the most intelligent and insightful within the entire boxing community. And my hat, I tip my do-rag to you, dog. Right? So, but the rest of the boxing community, one loss and you're in the gutter.
Yep, you're bummed.
Okay,
you were never that.
And
good.
these fighters aren't oblivious to that kind of criticism. They hear and read everything.
Yep.
So when they're management and it comes time for that 50-50 matchup to take place, guess what? Pass.
Yep. And you guys got to understand this too. On my channel, I watch a lot of boxing. I cover a lot of fights. The undercards I come on, I give my post-fight thoughts. I've had at least 5 to 6. Can't remember off the top of my head the exact number, but at least 5 fighters comment on my video of their fight, giving my post-fight thoughts on it. And if they felt like I was a little harsh on them, sometimes they would get angry. Sometimes they would actually be like, hey, you know, I'd like to come on and explain it to you. Now, none of them has ever came on. I've given them my email to, you know, get in contact with them, but they do listen. They actively go out and look up to see what people are saying, man. So, yeah, you got to be careful, man. We can't just say that these guys are trash just because they take a loss, especially if they're giving you the fight that you want. Like, we can't just throw Earl Spence away after his loss. That's a tough loss. Yeah, but that was the fight we wanted. You got to stick with them, man. Can't just throw them away.
Yeah. Look. Just like in boxing, just like in football, right? You know that saying, any given Sunday, anything
Yes.
can and often does happen, right? But once again, you suit up and you go back on the field of play the next week. In boxing, well, we don't have that luxury, right? You don't have that return match sometimes until another calendar year passes. That's what's wrong, guys. There's so much wrong. There's so much that could be rectified within our beloved boxing business. But guess what?
Yeah.
We're having a great year. Enjoy it. Revel in it. Relish in it, guys. So hold on. This is awesome. I love this. Eric R. Thank you for hanging with us, brother, for 90 minutes almost. He says, I like the 80s gimmick wrestlers. Hell yes. What's not to like? And he says, 80s had the best heels. G-Funky, who were your favorite heels? Not just from the 80s, but all time.
I'd say one heel that I don't know, for some reason I feel doesn't get enough credit for his run in the WWF in the ladies.
Let me guess. Hold on. Let me guess. $1 Million Man, right?
Yes, absolutely, man. Ted DiBiase, one of the best heels ever in the history of pro wrestling, man.
Yes, dude. The two Dave Hebners. Woo! Yes. That is one of the greatest storylines ever written. And once again, unless you were in that business and unless you were a part of kayfabe, you would have never guessed that would have happened. Guys, that's what made boxing so great back in the day. You never could have fathomed how these things played out because they were all 50-50 fights. And we were just witness to something that great. Not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Who would have ever, unless your name is James Gogi, who would have ever thought that would have happened?
Nobody.
No one. And Anthony Manzano, Sergeant Slaughter.
Hey, when he came back and was the turncoat and was with the Iraqi army, that was a great angle right there. That was great.
Oh, I tell you what, dude. I loved, and once again, I love me some Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter on that WrestleMania. But the co-main event, the retirement match, Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Right?
Oh, yeah, the retirement
that
match.
Stole the show, in my opinion. Right? And it didn't happen until after Macho Man lost. What happened after Macho Man lost? He was with Scary Sherry at the time, right?
Yeah, and he got back with
they showed the lovely Elizabeth in the crowd. What happened, bro?
Yep, she ran in there and saved her man, and that was a fantastic match. And that was one of the rare times that we could say that the Ultimate Warrior was in a good match.
But dude, admit it, dude. Admit it. You got choked up when you saw Macho Man get back together with Liz. Admit it, bro.
I'll say this, now that I'm a little bit older and I'm married and I understand more things. Yeah, it's definitely touches your heart to see that. As a young man, I didn't get it. I'm like, what the hell? Like,
see, I was a little bit older, man. I was a little bit older, and I will say this, and I'm going to air out my dirty laundry, right? Because this jackass is now on the dark side of the ring. Who's the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring, brother?
Marty Jannetty of the Rockers.
Yep, that cocksucker. I can't stand that guy, and it goes much deeper than wrestling. Okay, fun fact, guys. My girlfriend, when I was the lead singer of Dorian Gray, right? Her name was Holly Body. Real name, Tara. She was a dancer, right? She was my girl. Guess who she dumped me for? Yeah, Marty Jannetty. Can you believe that shit? Holy shit. So that's my connection with the Rockers. Marty Jannetty and Sean, no, once again, what's his face? What's his name? The good wrestler from the Rockers.
Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. Yeah, he grew up in San Antonio, and he was a football player at Randolph Air Force Base, and he used to play for the Randolph Roadhawks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they would come in from time to time, and yeah, while I was on tour, yeah, she dumped me for Marty Jannetty.
I don't mean to laugh, but yeah.
No, it's laughable. That pancake-faced bastard stole my girl. Dude, can you believe that shit?
Oh, man.
Dude, yeah, her name was Tara, man. She dumped me for Marty Jannetty. Unbelievable. But going back to boxing, guys, and once again, Eric R. has the beat. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah.
Macho Man Randy Savage, $1 Million Man. Yes, guys. That's what made wrestling great. And once again, it's like the four kings in the 80s, right? That's what made boxing what the juggernaut that it was. We need to get that back. How do we get that back, G Funky?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. My wife had walked in for a second.
No. That's how do we get that back? Right? And once again, we're on the right track, guys. Putting together 50-50 matchups on a regular basis.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But once again, it's not going to happen with these entitled bitches demanding more than their market value dictates. Yep. So Eric R. once again has the beat. Thank you for hanging with us, my friend. Says, I never thought about losses when Oscar, Mosley, Trinidad, and Vargas fought.
Yep. That's the way it should be, man, because, again, those guys gave us the fights that we wanted. And if you could highlight Outlaw's comment, he asked me which fighters. I think he's referring to when I said that some fighters had come to my post-fight videos. The three I could think of right off the bat. And these guys are like deep on ESPN
right
Plus cards. Yeah.
Hey, you talking about this one? Yeah.
Jalen Phillips, he fought Antoine Cobb, and he did not appreciate what I had to say after the fight. Andrell Holmes Jr., who was, I believe, the main event on a Showbox card 5 months ago. He actually won the fight, but I said I wasn't very entertained. It didn't seem like a good fight, and he was holding a lot. He was kind of explaining to me like, it's legal to clinch, but I did ask to come on, and he never responded to the email that I sent him. And Rasat Mati, who was I think he's a DAZN fighter. He had a tough fight in Mexico, and he was saying how it was the elevation of the city that they were in that messed up his performance and things like that. So those are three that I could think of right off the top of my head that responded to me.
Yep, and there it is. Guys, we're already 94 minutes in. I think we're going to call it. But, guys, we want to thank all of you for hanging with us for 94 minutes. G-Funky, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience, sir?
Well, once again, guys, thanks for tuning in. I know it was a long show, but, hey, man, why not? We got nothing else going on. Joe and I are two old school heads. We might as well come on here and talk a little boxing with you guys. So we appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button here on the show. Tomorrow night, I can't lock in a time yet because I'm so busy with everything, but I'm hoping sometime in the afternoon in the West Coast time to come on live and do the film study and prediction for El Vaquero Navarrete and Oscar Valdez. Let's see if we can get Joe to do some Lupe Contreras and do an intro for both of those guys.
Introducing Emmanuel El Vaquero Navarrete.
I love it. Oh, that's great.
And then here it comes, facing across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, introducing Oscar Valdez.
Yes, ¿quién es más macho?
Now we get to find out quién es más macho.
And Anthony, yes, I do. All the clips that I'm using are from the Adam Lopez fight. I always do the last fights for the opponents, unless he's fighting a southpaw or one of them is fighting a southpaw. Then I go back to the last time that opponent faced a southpaw and I analyze that film. But yes, I did use the Adam Blue Nose Lopez fight for my film study tomorrow.
Oh, and there we're going to see it. Anthony Manzano also says, where Steve Austin, where's he from? Is that outside of Austin or San Antonio? He's from Victoria, Texas. Yeah. Joe, that's actually outside of Corpus Christi, Texas, on the coast, on the East Coast, right?
Ah, okay. Is that south too, or?
That's southeast, right?
Ah, okay.
So it's about 3 hours away from where I reside, right, in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, that's
Victoria is right outside of Corpus Christi, Texas. And once again, I played so many gigs in Victoria, Texas. That was back in my hair metal days. And guys, keep me in your prayers because I painted myself into a corner. I'm going to make an album with the Mighty Seance metal band. Oh, geez. Oh, gosh. And you know what? I think I'd rather drink the Valdez tea at this time. But guys, once again, thank you once again for being a part of this program, guys. And thank you for hanging with us. We wouldn't do this without you guys, without your involvement. And once again, on behalf of the great G Funky, the boss,
yes,
I'm Joseph Aaron. You've been listening to WAWR Week Radio. Have a great evening, everybody.
FightSaga.com and Halftime Pizza proudly present WAWR Week Radio Chats with ring announcer and commentator Joseph Aaron.